everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the MIGO Experiment. My name is Sarah with my lovely co-host,
Melly.
And we have a very special guest today. Usually he's the one that's hosting, interviewing behind the scenes, but today we thought we need to highlight him today. Welcome, Rick Diezel.
Hey,
Woo!
what's going on, ladies?
Thank you so much for being with us today. Just to start off, tell us a background. Who is Rick Diezel? Where do you come from? What inspires you? What do you do?
So, my name is Rick Diezel, Dominican music producer from Washington, D.C. I've been producing music for over, professionally, I'd say 16 years that I decided to take this profession on. Um, wasn't an easy choice. Kind of was easy, but it was difficult. The path was difficult. It was easy to decide, yes, I want to do this because I love it. And then the path was like, damn, do I really want to do this? So that's who I am, a music producer from the area of Washington, D.C. I lived in Dominican Republic too for about, I want to say, 4 years of my life. And then I came back to DC. That was around 13 years old. Then I came back. I had to do high school again here. Had to do 2 more years of high school here, and yeah, I've been here ever since.
So you educated and you're a producer. What else do you do?
Man, I mean, I'm on this podcast with y'all, so
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
this is the
So
first
tell
time
us,
I'm in the hot seat.
yeah, yeah. So tell us, I guess like you grew up in the Dominican, but you also grew up in Washington, DMV area. How do you feel that your upbringing has influenced your music and how it's changed over the years?
Ooh, I'll tell you, when I was a kid, I only loved hip hop music. I only listened to hip hop music, and I couldn't stand Spanish music. And when I lived in Dominican Republic, couldn't get away from it to the point where I had to start learning and accepting it and understanding it. And I would sit with my friends and we would talk about the lyrics of certain bachatas, merengues, and I love salsa. Salsa, I feel like has some of the best storytelling. And being in Dominican Republic really gave me that exposure to Latin music that I never would have got if I stayed here. And it was so funny too because it was at the time that I moved to Dominican Republic. That's the same time reggaeton was blowing up. So that was kind of like the similarity that I could get of hip hop and Latin music. I was like, yo, this is different, but it's something about it that's like I like it. So, DR really exposed me to a lot of Latin music and different music that I would have never been that I probably would have never chose on myself to listen to. So I appreciate the fact that I lived there and it exposed me to so many different sounds and so many different artists and vibes that when I came back from DR, I wasn't doing Latin music. But throughout every time there was a certain every couple years there was somebody that popped up and said, "Oh, you Dominican? Yo, make me a reggaeton beat." And I'd be like, "Why?" I'm like, "Cause you Dominican. Y'all make good reggaeton beats." I'm like, "Don't disrespect me like that, man." But throughout time I realized, you know what? I should be doing this a lot more. So
Mhm.
yeah.
And then being a producer, who has been your most favorite artist that you worked with and that you've had the most fun with producing their music?
Most fun with making music, I'd have to say is this artist that I work with. His name is Chris De La Cruz. He's a lunchbox. Working with him in the studio and as a person, has a great heart, but he wants you to have a great time when you're around him. So he makes it a really enjoyable time. He's not egotistic, so you can bounce ideas off of him, and he's just like, really, I'll try it right now. I'll try it right now. I'll try it right now. I'll try whatever you tell him, and it's a fun time. So that's one of my favorite artists that I've worked with lately. That's been very fun.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I find cool though too? You mentioned that like, when you got presented or kind of told like you should make dembow, you should make these reggaeton beats. it's almost like you got try to get put into a box or something, right? Like they try to put you in this corner and this is what you are. How did you like mentally escape that, or how did you find that like ability to break through? Because a lot of artists, a lot of producers are told like you fit into this niche and you should do this, right? And a lot of the times they're like, whatever, I'm still making music, I'm passionate about it, so it's good enough, right? So how did you mentally kind of navigate through that scenario?
Okay, so I remember that when I started making beats in Dominican Republic. Um, my friends, so the beats that I started making in Dominican Republic were reggaeton, because reggaeton was popping at the time out there in DR. And I was trying so hard to make these reggaeton beats every day. And my friends would come sit with me, and because I would open up my marquesina in my house over there in DR. And my friends would just be walking to the park, and they'll see me and they'll walk into my marquesina and sit down and grab a chair. They never seen somebody make beats ever in their life, but mine's apparently they had to call them pita de Nintendo. So they were like Nintendo beats because they sucked, they really did.
Oh,
But it
that
was
sounds
so,
fire. I wouldn't take that as offensive. Like, ooh, that sounds cool. I'll take it.
I didn't know what to take it as, so I was just like, all right, whatever. And like, pita de Nintendo, pita de Nintendo. That's DR has a funny way of insulting, well, making your nickname the one thing that you might
Oh
be the most
yeah.
embarrassed about. So whatever. I think that might be a Latino thing, but so yeah, that was the first music that I did, reggaeton. And it was funny that my boy told me, he said, "Yo, you should start making some reggaetons." And I was like, "Bro, stop. What do you mean? Like, I'm hip hop. I'm straight hip hop." And nah, I mean, when I did it the first time, like that was a record that I got to a late night jiggy. The first time that I started making reggaeton beats all over again. And yeah, that first one was a banger. So after that, I was like, okay, I think I can keep doing this. Let's keep trying this.
And then how do you feel inspired when you're producing? Because I'm sorry, I'm not a producer and artist, but like what makes you think of what beats to do, or where do you get that inspiration from?
Mm. Yo, that's a great question. Um, Inspiration. I try to find inspiration for many things, but mainly I get inspired by motivational speakers. Working out gets me inspired too. Like after working out, I'm like amped up. I want to do something exciting. My thoughts are more clear. Everything is more transparent to me. But really, motivational speakers and watching other great producers. When I got a producer block, I look for other great producers and I watch them and I see what they're talking about, and I watch how they're making music. And that usually like amps me up, and I'm like, I bet I need to do the same thing. I need to make something crazy. I need to make some dope. So and experiences too, taking trips, going to other places, getting out the house. If you feel like you can't make no music, then you need to go live some life. Then when you live some life, then you can come back and make some music.
That's a
Yeah,
good gem.
Dropping
Good,
gems. Yeah.
good gems.
for sure, for sure. Yeah. Tell me
That's
about it.
awesome. Yeah. And so I guess like you have all these like producers that you reference to. I guess who would be your dream like producer collab or artist collab that, I guess is on your top three list or however list you want to put it.
Uh, I was just thinking about that. Biggest producer collab, man. Eesh. Um, I guess on the hip hop side, biggest producer collab, I would say uh it would have to be between like three producers. I would say Metro Boomin, uh Kanye West and Pharrell.
Oh,
Those are on the American side. And on the Latino side, I would say like collaborating with Tiny, of course. I would like to collaborate with Leo RD. That's one of my favorite producers. And Chael produciendo, El Alfa's producer. I would love to produce with those guys.
Those are
Yeah.
some good ones.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking it into existence, not yet,
Yes.
but you will be.
Ah man, God willing, God willing. I mean, those guys, I admire them a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And there's so many other producers too that I could mention, but
Mhm.
those are the first ones, that come off the top of my head. So I'm gonna stick with that.
That's super cool. And then I also wanted to say congratulations because you produced Infamous on the new Spider-Man. Metro Boomin produced album with Shensia. Like, come on. And Mike Towers. How did
Yeah.
that begin? How did that happen? Like, how does it feel? Because I mean, like, that's super cool. Like, everybody watches it at the movie theater. We see your name. Like, how does that feel for you? And yet you're so humble about it too. It's like, how did that work out for you?
So it's crazy because I'm still mind blown about the whole situation. Um, I would say that came about. So I'll tell you this. My first experience in Miami was an amazing experience. I had a little bit of tumultuous situation where I had a cousin that passed away the same day I got to Miami, and I didn't travel for like 15 years. And when I finally, you know, I want to say I finally calmed down about the situation, and I had to speak to some people that care about me. They told me like you're here for a reason, and I just focused, had a great time in Miami, came back, le guardé luto a mi primo, and I don't know, something came inside of me of what I experienced out there, just seeing the industry, seeing how people communicate, network. When I came home, I made this. I say I had this reggaeton, I had this dembow beat that I was playing. I played it one time for somebody in Miami, and I didn't like their reaction to it. So I said I need to go back and change this. This is not something I can show people. And that was the first beat that I messed with when I got back, and I did it, and I was like, okay, this is cool, cool. And I just kept it in my deck of beats. And I want to say a year ago, a friend of mine asked me for some Latin tracks, and I sent them a bunch of reggaeton records, and I threw in a couple dembow just for shits and giggles. And I want to say 5 months ago, he hits me back, and he's like, "Yo, I just want to let you know that one of those records that you sent me, Spider-Man people are listening to it and they love it." And I was just like, listen, bro, you playing. Listen,
Yeah. You
this
say
stuff,
Spider-Man?
yeah, like this stuff, I take it with a grain of salt when people tell me this stuff. So I'm like, because people can get hot, they can get cold really quickly. And,
Mhm.
you can't do anything about it. You can't take it personally. So I'm like, cool, no problem. Just let me know. Just let me know if it goes along. He's like, all right, cool, I'll let you know. Then a month passes by and he's like, yo, Shamsia just recorded. I said, really? Where's the track? He's like, I don't know, but when I get it to you, I'm gonna show it to you. I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. I'm still like just going about my life. And 3 months ago, that's when stuff got real serious. And that's when he sent me the record, and I was just like, yo, Shamsia's on this. This is crazy. And when they sent me the record, I told him, I said, listen, this is Dembo. You need somebody Latino on it, preferably a Dominican or Puerto Rican. And I told them, I said, on the Dominican side, I mentioned El Alfa, I mentioned Rochi, I mentioned Chimbala, I mentioned Tokisha. And on the Puerto Rican side, I mentioned, Mike Towers, Bad Bunny, Daddy Yankee, Yengo Flow. I mentioned a whole bunch of people. And that was on a Saturday night. And by Monday morning, they sent me the verse and they was like, yo, what you think about this record right here? Mike Towers. And I was like, what? I was literally in bed. And when I heard the record on my phone, I just turned over and put my face in the pillow and just screamed. I was just like, God damn, Mike
Yeah.
Towers, what you doing on my beat, man? And
Yeah.
I mean, it was a surreal experience. And the two other producers, the friends of mine, they went in and they also edited the beat and just made it bigger and stronger for a movie. Um, but it was I honestly have to say that it's from having great connections, great friendships, and still being connected with people. Even though they're working on other things far away, and just letting them know that, yo, I got some other stuff if you're looking for other vibes, other genres, you know.
That's amazing. It's so cool to see DMV talent. That's something I personally love, like to see people from the DMV rising, getting places. It's like I want more of us to keep doing this super cool thing that you're doing.
That's a fact, yo. That's a fact. That's a fact. I love to see people when I got friends from here that whenever they get dope placements and stuff like that, it gives me a lot of energy. You know what I'm saying? I can never be one of those dudes where I get upset about something. Like it just makes me feel like, yo, you got that and you know me and we're friends. That means that's coming to me too.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming soon to me. I just need to keep focused and keep grinding. I appreciate you making that happen because it's giving me inspiration. So hopefully I can do that for my friends and the people that know me, you know.
Yeah, and I feel like your story that like thanks for sharing, your story with us, especially with the vulnerable part about your family and all of that.
Oh
But
yeah.
I do feel like your story speaks volume to like just the way kind of life goes sometimes. Sometimes we have the worst scenario or the worst situation that happens, and sometimes you get cooped up into that emotion and you really block yourself up from other opportunities. And sometimes it's just a way of, you know, angels moving in the sky for you and making those dreams and everything happen. So thank you so much for sharing that story, because I'm sure anyone that's watching, I'm sure it'll touch lives, it'll touch hearts.
Man,
So thank you.
I dedicate that record to him, man. Really to him.
That's
Cause,
sweet.
if it him passing away when I was in Miami like really made me um focus on what I was there for. You know what I mean? Miami's a beautiful city, a lot of beautiful people. Uh, Being young, you can easily get distracted out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to go into details, but but that happened, and that really just like it did something to my brain. I said, you got to do this for your family members that can't really move. You got to do this for the people that can't really get out of the state and go network and go grind. So, you know, take this seriously. And it did that for me. It triggered something in my brain. So I dedicated to him.
Yeah, I love that. And then where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? What is like the future goal? Like when do you feel like you've made it?
So it's funny. Um, in 5 years, I see myself traveling all over the place. Um, Mainly Miami, Dominican Republic. I want to go to a bunch of Latin countries. I want to go to as many Latin countries as I can. I want to go, meet with producers. I want to meet with artists. I want to go to African countries too. I just want to travel. I want to travel and meet different producers from different places and just collaborate, keep working on different genres of music. In 5 years, I see myself as one of the new upcoming producers that, everybody wants to go to. That's really my goal. It's been my goal for a long time. And yeah, that's what I'm focused on. You know, I want to be
That's
versatile.
awesome. Yeah. Do you see like I've seen some producers that I guess like being in the industry for quite some time, they start to like branch out into different areas of the industry, so like songwriting, sometimes they might even hop on a track. Do you see yourself doing that, or do you think like not at the moment, or you're open-minded to it? How do you feel about it?
I'm extremely open minded, extremely, and I hope that whatever artists I get in the studio with, they're also open minded because being in the studio, I might not even have lyrics for a song, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll have the flow for you. You know what I mean? I'll have melodies for you. If you're a songwriter, you can take what I've done and put it into the record and mix it in right. But yeah, I see more songwriting later on. Having completed bodies of work to show to an artist like, yo, you like this song? How about a song like this? How about a song like this? I got this song too, you know. So I definitely want to get more into songwriting and hopefully also another goal of mine is like executive producing. Like I want to executive produce something. You know what I mean? Like not just totally just make the music, but like help the artists and producers, with the records that they're making. I would love to do that. That's a dream of mine as well.
That's super cool. And then what's a piece of advice you'd give to someone wanting to be like you? when they grow up, wanting to be a producer, wanting to do all these things? What is something that you would tell them?
I would tell them that if they knew my path, like everything that I went through, I don't think they would want to choose to be like me. But I would say that the best advice would be is if you have a passion, to learn as much as you can about that passion, you know? Um, and don't feel don't feel I guess the word is discouraged if you want to learn more about a subject, or let's say music production, right? You said me, right? So I'm a music producer. I never learned how to play music. I never learned how to play piano, not traditionally. I had to learn by playing with a music program. And at the time where I was learning, there was no YouTube. You know, there was only other people that I could find and say, "Hey, how do you work it? Oh, that's how you work it. This is how I work it." And we traded a lot of information and skills. I would say, you know, keep your heart in your craft. Keep learning new skills from other producers. If now we have the internet, so you can actually go on YouTube and learn how to make beats in a year, right? But also not only learn how to make beats, learn how to make records. Think about what are records. Think about what completes a record. What is pop? What is street? What is commercial? Um, Network a lot. Get out of your house. Go meet people. You know, shake some hands, make some friends. Um, and I would also say keep your heart in the right place. You know, the biggest thing about making music is that if you want things to happen, not only do you have to improve as a music producer, but as a person. You know what I mean? A lot of that comes with being successful in the music business. What I've seen is people not only thinking about growing in their career, but growing as a human being. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when I say that, I mean physical, spiritual, uh, mentally, emotionally, all those different things. I think all of that is in a combination with who ultimately you want to be when you grow up. Aside from just music production.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I like that you speak that, because I think also like it comes down to a lot of people think that, it's an overnight success, especially with the rise of like TikTok and Instagram and hashtags. Like people are just like, oh, I'm gonna go be an overnight sensation. But I think sharing that insight, like how do you feel, I guess, like as a producer, from like an OG producer to like the new, I guess, like generation producer, where like there is YouTube and you can connect with people on social media and all that stuff. Like how do you feel the difference it is, or is it like an advantage, or what can, I guess, like from your experience, can new producers that are coming up and artists doing it with this new generation, what can they kind of look out for?
Dude, I mean, I love it. I love it. I love it because it's more access, more access. Like it's everything I dreamed of. I wish that existed when I started making beats.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love it. I love that there's other guys out there that want to teach other guys to make music, how to produce it. I love that there's guys that are in love with the craft. And I like I see a lot of things out there too. People talking about AI and how AI can mess up the music business because these AIs are gonna start making beats. I mean, I guess they could, but it's nothing from like someone really having the passion to want to make music, and there's a lot of AI tools too to make music. So people are just gonna become more I want to say it's gonna help to become more creative. It's gonna help to be more creative.
I like that.
That's how I see it, and I want to see it that way. I don't want to see it the other way, how people are saying like, oh, these AIs are gonna mess up the music industry and all this new technology. I love the new technology. There's so many things that I use today when making beats. You know.
Mm.
And then are there any new projects that you can tell us, or what you're working on now? Like what's the picture right now, if you can tell us.
I mean, what I can say is I've been speaking to a lot of artists, been hitting my DMs that I've never spoke to before. I want to say a lot of executives hitting my DMs that I've never spoke to before. Some I have before. They're like, "Yo, what's up, boy? You did that? That's crazy. I got to put you on with these people." I'm like, oh, "Okay, cool. Let's do it." Um, I've spoken to a lot of producers too. Some really dope producers, like successful guys ahead of me, way ahead of me. They tap my line and it's just like, yo, have a little combo with me, trying to get to know me. And they was just like, yo, yeah, we got work to do. We got work to do. So I can't say just yet because it's not concrete. But I do have a lot of dope artists that and a lot of dope, like I said, other people that have been hitting my DMs. There's so many different people. See, the thing about relationships is that I know so many people, and I love that. I know photographers, I know videographers, I know executives, producers, artists, promoters. And they're everybody knows somebody. You know, so as soon as they see me doing something, they're hitting me up. As soon as they seen the Spider-Man thing, oh, it's been crazy. My DMs have been crazy. They ain't never been this crazy in my life. But I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful and I'm grateful for it. I'm thankful and I'm grateful for the opportunity because this is what I've been praying for. This is what I've been working for, and I'm just gonna answer them all one by one. You know what I mean? So this was a surprise. The next one will be a crazy surprise too. I promise you. I promise you.
We're so excited. And I must ask too, like you're the first time I think I met you with Henry Flo was on Zoom and you were like sitting in your dope closet. Like you had this like closet full of stuff. Like will we be seeing more of your fits? Like will you be now with your, your rise and more than ever? Like are we going to be starting to see some of those fits on Instagram? Like what can we expect on social media? Because we need you to document this. Like we need to, we need some live footage.
Like a
And
day in the life or something, or your
Yeah, like we
anniversary or
need some type
something.
of, yeah.
A TikToker more than a producer. Let's see your life.
Yeah,
that's a
like we need
fact.
updates.
That's a fact. I mean, that's a fact too. I've recently been talking to a PR friend of mine out there in Miami, and she's been telling me, she's like, listen, you gotta post some more pictures of your gear. I want to see videos of you in the studio. Um, I actually, and I have other things that I'm doing too. Like in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna sit down with a community center out in Virginia. It's with young Latinos, and basically we're gonna do like a production workshop. So I'm gonna film that, of course. So we're gonna have that up on the internet real soon. And yeah, I really, this next step in music production and in my career, I'm gonna be doing a lot more of those videos. So yeah, I appreciate you for telling me that too. Yeah, I'm definitely kind of stunned a little bit. You know what I mean? Put it on the gram, right? People want to see. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely be doing that soon. Definitely. That's yeah.
I tune into it all. I support like everything. I feel like people would love to see your story, especially like I said, like
Yeah.
you're so humble and so real about it. Like I feel like that's hard nowadays in this industry to find authenticity and like someone
Yeah.
being real. But you, it's like it's just so natural, so raw. It's like that's amazing. Or that's why I admire you so much. That's I'm like Rick is just an amazing dude.
Thank you, Manita. Thank you. And it's funny because at one point in my life, I used to take the word humble, and it made me feel like it was an insult.
Mm-hmm.
And until I had to actually learn, um, how to properly be humble. You can be humble, but you also have to know your worth. And that took me a while. That's a lesson I just learned. I don't want to say right now, but a couple months ago, where I actually called my friend and he told me this like 2 years ago. And I called him back and I said, hey, bro, I just understood what you were telling me that. He's like, what I tell you? When you told me that I was too humble, I was like, oh, really? And I told him, I said, yeah, I realize now you were telling me that, understand my worth. And that's something that I've been understanding right now. So I do appreciate that. And I think it's always good to keep your feet on the ground. You know what I mean? Even with this whole situation, trust me, like when it happened, like I said, it's still amazing to think about, but at the same time, I'm just like, we got more work to do. We got more work to do, Rick. You know what I mean? This is one, but you need more to sustain a career. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, no, definitely. I agree with that. And that's it's so I guess like to that, you have all this knowledge and tell us a little bit more about what you're doing in Virginia. Is it like you're giving back to the community or what exactly is that?
So it's funny because I scheduled this way before this record even came out. I wasn't even thinking about this record, and it was just someone that I met. We had I was out of Virginia. I forgot what I was doing, and we met, and I saw them coming out of this building that had beautiful artwork, and I was like, "Yo, this building is gorgeous. I love it." And she was like, "Oh yeah, thank you. This is our community center." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, cool." I was like, "What do you do?" They started telling me what they do in the community with the young kids, just giving them an alternative place to go to, giving them different education. And I was like, oh, that's so dope. I love the artwork. And then she told me that the artist actually came and showed the kids how they make art, and they did the art together on the building. And I was like, wow, I love art. I'm an artist myself. Well, I'm a music producer. And she was like, oh, really? What have you produced? And she wanted to hear my music. So I played some music for her. And she was like, have you ever thought about doing a workshop? And I was like, I've never thought about it. I was like, what, I got to show the kids like how to make beats and stuff? And she's like, not necessarily. Just come in and you can kind of talk to them about your life and how did you choose to do that? And, what has that done for you? And hopefully you have some great motivational stories that you can give to the kids, that can relate to them in their life. And when she said that to me, that's when it made more sense for me because I just like I said, I want to motivate others. Just like how I've been motivated. I want to be able to give some of that motivation off, especially with the things I've done. I know that every time I do something great, even when I do an interview with you ladies, what I'm saying, on this show, and I post it up online, other people hit me up and they're like, "Yo, I love how you did that interview. I love what you said there. Yeah, yo, you made this person tear up. Yo, you made this person cry." And I was like, "What?" Like, so when I hear that, I know that it motivates other people around me that are trying to pursue the same things. I've seen it happen. Friends, they started their podcast, they started producing, they started writing, uh, pursuing their passions. They started a business. It doesn't necessarily have to relate even to music. I have friends that want to do other things outside of music, and just having someone around them that's doing something that's getting past the idea stage, motivates them to take the next step too. So that's where it comes from to want to do that.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing. And I'm sure like, you've dropped a lot of gems today and there's a lot of snippets that, throughout the show today that people can watch back. And it's not even like what you're speaking to, like speaks so much more to just like the industry and music. Like it's to life. So
Yeah.
cheers to you. We're excited,
Thank you.
Brindemos a Rick Diesel. Don't forget us.
Yeah.
Nunca, nunca,
Don't
nunca.
forget us. We'll be like, Rick, it's us. It's
No, no,
us.
no, nunca.
You remember
I'm,
us?
I'm not like them.
Sarah will have the YouTube video playing, like, remember? I'll be like, yeah, that's us right here. Let us in, please.
I was just at the barber shop, and my barber and his homie beside him were telling me the same thing. And I was like, I'm not like them. I'm not like them. If you're my peoples, you got my number, you hit me up, whatever. Like if I got something going on and I can hook you up with something, whatever, you know what I mean? I'm not like them. I don't be forgetting my people, man.
Yeah, but thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at Instagram at Rick_Diezel, Diezel. You can also find me on Twitter with the same handle. Find me on TikTok with the same handle. The YouTube is coming soon. And what else coming soon? Yeah, YouTube, mainly YouTube, and more records on Spotify.
And
Awesome.
in Melly, where can we find you?
You guys can follow me on all social media as Melly Queen Music and Sarah.
And all social media too, Sarah J.Y. Ruiz. And then also LinkedIn, you can connect with me at Sarah Ruiz. And then make sure you guys follow, like, subscribe to the MIGO Experiment, and hope to see you soon.
Hey.